Okay, so here's a fun idea. Discussion, even. Let's say for a second that you can remember when you were born in 1996, okay? You're coming home in your stroller for the first time. The very first moment you open your eyes, there's a giant bulldog, entire head filling up the crib. You're a pretty smart kid. You remember that? You might be able to compare it to a few things, but you don't know anything yet. So we're going to move past that. We'll skip to 2002, kindergarten, etc., etc. Now, more so than that, this is the first time maybe you're doing the alphabet. First time around people. Now, let's discuss for a second if the alphabet was actually made by vampires or aliens. Now, that's a pretty fun subject if they're even existing in real. The Drake equation would back up aliens and vampires. Now, the fun part about it that leads me to this fun discussion is in the alphabet it says High JK. That's a computer term in modern society. Like, hello, I'm joking. I'm just saying if you could see this real quick. Kind of hoping that you die. We never know. Aliens, man. But still, think about it. So the alphabet was made in a certain year. If I actually wanted to do the thorough research to memorize it, I could have found the year and been like, well, aliens came to Earth in this time period between here and here, or vampires are more likely because of the traditional fact that they're more easily talked about and related to, while aliens do not exist on Earth that we know of. Discussing that, we could say why they were doing it, and we could come to certain conclusions about society at large. Personally, I lean towards the people who like dogs, and here's the reason I say this. Think about how the alphabet says hi JK, and think about the long term strategy that it would take to implement that into the modern society of the computer softwares and etc. in the video games for it to be easily relatable. All we know, hi JK is actually a long term, far flung futurism plan made by vampires or aliens, whichever poison you prefer. Now, think about it in another way. Let us take into application wordplay. Got some books. We can do some wordplay right there. But I'm just gonna say, the whole dog god is the easiest immediate comparison. Dog is similar and equals God when spelled backwards. Unless you use, blah 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 blah, but that don't make sense. So the English language has a lot of words that kind of in a certain way fell out into different manualisms and patterns. Now think of the long-term psychological impact that those wordplays would have on the human psyche as well as the way it's equatedly evolved. We could probably use some modern culture. Yeah. For instance, I would perceive, if it was vampires or aliens, that Nicki Minaj, super bass, was actually a long-term strategy for popularization of sex for sexual reproduction. I'm talking my Dale Gribble voice because it doesn't really work. A lot of it's really just mainly bullshit, and I can't really care too much because it doesn't really affect me. But nonetheless, I could probably write it out, make a real long term primal. Oh shit!